Hi guys, and welcome back to Wade's Workshop. So, I told you it wouldn't be so long this time before I brought another video up, so I went from 13 months between videos to less than a week. So one of the reasons I've come back, I've actually haven't had a week off this year from work, and with all the holidays I've accrued, I've actually booked this week off, so it's like week beginning 1st of September, what have you. I booked that week off. I got a couple more to come that I got to take before the end of the year, but we'll see how we get on with that. So anyway, that said, I've had time to get down to the workshop and get back at it. I'm continuing to clean up and tidy up and get rid of rubbish and swarf I've accumulated over the last year, but anyway, that's a work in progress. So in this episode, as the title probably suggests, I'm going to make a fly cutter. So yeah, I'm behind the times a little bit. I started this a few months ago maybe, but I need to finish it off. So this is for Andre at Rusty Inventions. I've said I'd make him a fly cutter. He's using milling cutters, all the rest. He's fairly recently bought a Walco mill like mine, and I find the fly cutter very useful. It's cheaper to sharpen a piece of high-speed steel than it is to use expensive milling cutters and wear them out, and easy to regrind, all that. We all know about fly cutters. So in this particular video, I'll show you making this fly cutter for Andre. So that's Andre at Rusty Inventions. He does all sorts of bits and bobs. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. So that's Andre, that's at Rusty Inventions. Hi Andre. And obviously I will have to get in touch. I've got your address somewhere, but I may have to email you and get your address again. No worries on that one. So talking of Rusty, only discovered maybe 6 weeks ago that there's another fellow YouTuber fairly close to me, sort of loosely involved in engineering, but I got an interest in boats, whether they be wooden boats, steel boats and what have you. So this local YouTuber, it's a channel called Saving Blue Steel. So Sean at Saving Blue Steel. Hi Sean. Well, I've been spending a bit of time popping back and forth, going down to see Sean and what have you, giving a hand where I can. And I think his next video I might even make a cameo appearance, who knows. But with that said, I'll put a link in the description to that, his channel. It's a mammoth project, lots of steel work, lots of welding, lots of engineering, literally stripping out the whole bottom 2 feet of this boat. That's, I couldn't guess. I'm going to say it's 45-50 feet long, this boat, but the whole sort of bottom 2 feet needs replacing. Yeah, it's a mammoth project, and I started watching it and I can't put it down. I'm always waiting for the next episode. So yeah, if you're interested in that sort of thing, that's Sean, that's Saving Blue Steel. Again, I'll put a link to the channel in the description below. So with all that said, let's get on and make that fly cutter. So as I mentioned earlier, the hole up the end of the ram in the little arbor press is not straight to the ram. So 12mm carbide cutter, I've just bored it out to true it up first because it wasn't true, so that this cutter can have somewhere to pick up on. So carbide cutter, it's hard, this. The 12mm cutter. Original hole was about 3/8. I'm opening it up to 12mm with this cutter. Everything seems to be running true. Cutter's not throwing around. Don't know what size the hole will end up, but whatever size it is, that's going to be the size that we make our little spigots to, on whatever tooling we fit in the end of the ram. But at least I know it'll be square to the ram, whereas whatever I put in there before was probably on like a 2 or 3 degree angle. About this, so just winding it in nice and gently. With it being a solid carbide cutter, it's a ball end, well not ball end, it's got radius corners. I did bore it out first to true with a long skinny boring bar, but that was just a random size, whatever it cleaned up at. It was around 11 mil. I think that's going to be deep enough. Yeah, it's good, 15 mil deep that. Let's have a look. That's far better. I can see it's cleaned up and it's let's have a look. Running nice and true. Well, true enough, but I'm not too worried about true or in centre. It was never on centre anyway, but at least it's parallel to the ram. So I've got a sized hole that's parallel to the ram, and whatever tooling I want to put in the ram will be made to that size, and I'll make a note of it somewhere. So yeah, 4-jaw chuck straight in, clocked up the existing hole, well, the end of it. Just bored it out to get a nice parallel start, and then straight in with a radius cornered 12mm carbide cutter, because it is tough, this. High-speed steel didn't like it much with the little boring bar I put in. But anyway, there we are. So that's sorted that out. Is there enough wall thickness? Yeah, there's enough for its little screw. It's only to hold it in anyway. It's not like I'm going to be pulling anything out on it. So yeah, that's that. So a good while ago now, oh gosh, it may even have been before I had a mill, I made this fly cutter. I've just given it a clean up and made it look a bit more respectable. It's been sat in the shed a long time and I use it a lot. So I'm going to make another one, and I don't think it's it. I did snap the bolt off in the middle of it. I need to sort that out, but that's another story really. I'm going to make another one. I have an appropriate sized piece of steel, so let's jump to the lathe and get on with it. So, piece of steel up in the lathe. It's been a while, guys, been a while. That's not bad. So it has got a hole from a previous life, this piece of steel. How deep's that hole? About 6mm. Okay. Well, we'll face it off, get rid of that hole. So the stock's about 50mm diameter, I'm guessing. That hole looks about 8mm, was actually about 8mm deep. Oh, that's a bit too heavy a cut. So just facing off 1/2mm at a time till we clean it up. Okay, that'll do for roughing. Right, so I want the fly cutter to have a 12mm shank, and what I've got, let me grab a rule. Seems to fit in the R32 collet nicely. So 30mm by 12, that's what we're going for. So let's just get a 0 here on that face. Okay, so we're going to go 29, start roughing it down. Let's get the feed in place. Slow things down a bit. My feet up a bit. Go a bit heavier on the cut than that, we'll be here all day. also a change of speed and feed rate there, I think, because that stringy stuff is horrible. Let's try coarser feed. Too coarse. That's better, starting to break off now. Right, that's 29mm. So, yeah, I have got swarf everywhere, so I'm going to play with this for a little bit, get this swarf to break off, and then bring it back. Okay, a little bit of messing about. 2mm off the diameter, 1mm side cut. Just got the feed so it's breaking off nicely. Yeah, it's coming off in, you know, find some bits, little short bits now. Not getting stringies everywhere, hate those. So yeah, bring it back when we're somewhere near. So we're getting there now. I think we're down to about 12.5mm. I'll check it in a minute. DRO says we are. This particular piece of steel is not very nice. I had a piece, I think this is the tail end of a bar I had maybe a couple of years ago. It's been lying around, but I remember it being particularly knotty. I can remember having a piece of problem bar which just didn't play games, or played games. 12.2, so another 0.1. Nice balanced approach. 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Okay, 12mm collet. Nice. What's it actually measure at? .997. That'll do nicely. Right. So I've got to bring it further out in the chuck because I do want to skim that OD. Do I hold it by what I've just done and skim it? Yeah, probably get away with that. It's 12mm, it's a nice size. Okay. Oh, we got a bit of swarf in the chuck there. So, as we all know, I haven't been about in a long time. And I think everything wants a little bit of maintenance here in the shed. I think that chuck wants stripping apart and cleaning, giving a bit of a service. We'll see. Slow my hearts down a bit. So I just want to skim the OD of this. Is it worth me centre drilling it? No. I'm going to machine it off anyway. So let's just clean up. Do I centre drill the end? Wouldn't hurt. It's probably good 6 mil, that front face got to come off anyway. It's going to be done in the mill on an angle. Let's see how I can clean up this OD. It starts to chatter. And I'll put a centre in. Remember putting a nice big chamfer on the back edge on the other one. Probably do the same again. So with the turning bit done, we need to do the angle now. So I've got my collet block. We're on the mill here, and obviously I've stripped the mill off. I've been cleaning the table off because it was stinking dirty from being left for months. So yeah, let's clamp the vise down, get on with it. So vise in, clocked up, and I've just centralized the part using my DTI. So my spindle is now central over this. I'm not worried about x-axis, it's the y-axis that I just wanted to get, but I've clocked it up anyway. Set 0, 0 on my DRO. So I think what I'm going to do now is set it up on an angle that would approximate this angle. That'll be fairly straightforward to do. So yeah, let's get the clock out of the way. We don't want to damage the clock. I've got my 0. It doesn't matter that I'm moving it. So let's just tip it over on an angle in the vise. Let's have a look. You know what? I think I'm about there. I'm going to call it that. That is literally by eye the same angle. Oh, tighten that up, as I've got on the top of here. So swap over now. I might actually use the Flycutter. Swap over the Flycutter, mill that off. You know what, I'll rough it out with a standard cutter, then I'll use the Flycutter. So yeah, let's swap over the cutter. So just roughing it out, really. Oh, well set. So yeah, that's about the width of the cutter. We'll have to go left and right now in X. Let's just do it with power feed, shall we? bit heavy of a cut. I'm in no rush. Got that cut off a bit. So I'm going to keep going until I get basically flush with this edge here. It's been that long since I used the mill, but the battery is flat in the DRO, the quill DRO. So this will probably do it, final cut. Oh. Battery. I have got it written on the head. It's a 2032 button cell, and I'm pretty sure I got some, but then again, who knows. And that should be okay. I'm going to call it that cut. So the next thing I need to do is, don't know where the original one is, here it is. Need to put a slot, but not through the middle, through the offset. So we'll do that. So 2032, it was the last one, so I'll put a note to myself, order some more of these, eh? Well, battery in my calipers has gone as well, so this one, Duracell 2025, yeah, I do have a bit of a stock of these. I think I bought like 6 on Amazon or what have you, so yeah, we got stock of these. So let's just put that battery back in. Oh. Well, I got that in right. Let's have another look. It's me trying to do it on camera. It's got this little stopper on there, which ice insulates it, so you've got to peel that sticker off to make it work. Okay. Okay. So 0. Right, we're up and running. Okay, so I got an 8mm cutter up. I'd already centered it, so I had a 0 for center. I've offset the part this way 4.5mm, so I'm 0.5mm off the finished size, and obviously with the finished slot being 12mm, yeah, there's loads of meat, so probably should have used a 10mm cutter, but this one was out and about in the fresh air. There's my touch, set a 0 on my DRO, and we're looking for 12.70. So let's do 0.5mm at a time, shall we? Let's just see how the cutter behaves. Something weird went on then. So I'm going to go into 12.60 and then we'll start widening the hole out. And that was 0.5mm pass. Let's just see what a mil pass looks like. Take it down to 1.5 deep. Back the other way. That's fine. I'll do mill cuts, 12 passes, bring you back when we're somewhere near. Okay, so that's 12.5 millimeters deep. I've just realised I haven't got the shotgun mic on today on the camera. So I offset, let me just explain. I offset the part 4.5 mil from centre line. So theoretically this space on this side is 0.5 mil too big. So let's just go. It's now 4.25 offset. So I'm fine milling here. I'm just going to face this across. What's the finish like? Should have cleared that swap out before I started. Okay, surface finish looks good. I think I'll take it down to lead point 1, come back across, probably then go to depth and go back across. Actually, I'll go to depth now on this cut. Let that run out the slot. Take it to depth, 12.7 mil. That's depth. And now 4.1. Run that through, then take the final 0.1 off on the way back. Yeah, I get a better finish climb milling, so looking at it. Come to depth now. Let that run out. Step it back, that's smack on 4 mil offset. And we'll run back through with that. And I get chatter. Finish looks okay though. I mean, it's not critical, there's nothing running on it, but the tool's going to fit in there, and I'd like a nice fit for the piece of 1/2 inch square tool steel. You know, a couple of thou clearance it's going to be. So that's 1/2 inch deep. That's the centre line of the part, which keeps the tool on centre height. It's sort of like a lathe tool when it's revolving. Okay, so I started at 4.5, 5 mil. I've gone back in 0.5 mil further than when I did the original cut. That'll take 0.5 mil off this space. So that basically should give me a 9 mil slot now, 8 mil cutter. I've gone from 4 across to 5. So theoretically that should be a 9 mil slot. So, piece of 1/2 inch high speed steel. Fits in there nicely. It's a little bit below surface. Don't know whether I'll flash that off there. You know what, I'm probably going to come up 12.7 with a cutter and just tickle that surface there. Or, you see, I can't use a fly cutter because my fly cutter uses a 12 mil collet, and I've only got one 12 mil collet, and that's in there holding that in. So, yeah. Right, no issues there, but yeah, so I can't do that. So I need to put this flat on here to put the screws in, so we'll do that next. Let's get some manure, touch on the edge. Same depth. It doesn't need to go so deep. Let's come up 2 mil, 2.7. I come up 2.7. That should be 10 mil deep. And my original was 10 mil deep. That'll do it. Just touch. Set 0. So this is just a flat to be able to put 3 holes in for some grub screws. So, is that a shot? Yeah, of course it is. Right, okay, let's just run that back the other way. That's finishing cut across there. So, original 3 tapped holes. I got a broken screw in there. I need to sort that and fix that while I'm at it. So yeah, deburring, chamfers, that sort of thing to go on now, and a bit of finishing and polishing. Oh, I know what I nearly forgot. Top face. Okay, so that's done to depth. Let's come back up. Let's come back up 12.9. I don't know how much of a cut that is. Let's come back up 13 now. So this needs to finish at 12.7. That's 12.8 there. That finish is horrible. I know it's 0.1 to come off there. So let me get pen a second. Pen? Oh, you see, I'm not in the shed enough. There it is, I can see a pen. I really do need to get in the shed more often. So, 0.1. 0.1. How can I hold my fly cutter in the top? I have a 12mm collet. Take this chuck out, put a 12mm collet in, use that. There we are, that's the only way you can do it. 12mm Morse taper, MT2 is it? Yeah, MT2 that goes up. Or is it MT3? I can't remember. So, I'll keep scratching away at this larger surface till I get a touch on the one with 0.1 on it. Probably go a bit faster than that. Right, that's just touching. 0.05 of that. And we'll do the same again. See what we get going the other way. We'll run it back the other way with a finer feed. I'm going to call it. So yeah, that's the machining finished. All we need is a couple of M5 holes now, take some bolts, and obviously all the finishing and tidying up and tackling. So, bit of a setup. Again, my 12mm collet's in there holding that, in the collet block, and the stub on my chuck is 12mm, so I've had to use the Morse taper sleeve again. I think I'm going to buy myself another 12mm collet because this happens quite often. Maybe a spare 8, 10 and 12, I think that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, that's another story. So, just use a 1, 2, 3 block squared up off the vise, which I know is already clocked in. This isn't critical, so just brought this vise in, squared up that face against the 1, 2, 3 block, clamp the vise down. Okay, so I've got a centre drill here. Let's just, first of all, now this isn't critical, so I'm going to eyeball the centre of the centre drill with the edge of there, and if I just set a 0 in X. So this is 10mm wide. 12mm it's holding. If I come back 6mm, so if I just wind across till I get 6 on my DRO, there we go, lock Y off, just nip Y off, right, okay. So I need to find the centre now, so if I, why did I lock Y off? X, idiot. So if I just line up that intersection point, which is there, looking from the centre drill, looking down on that intersection line, set a 0 there, so Y0, then come back across, eyeball that one. What does that read? 24.98, so that's 25. Okay, let me go to centre, which is half a 25, 12 and a half, bit much, 12 and a half is there. Okay, so that's going to be my centre screw, and then I'll offset, let's see, what are we looking, probably, it's going to be M5, I'll probably get away with taking that to, hold on, 12 and a half of my centre, let me do that, I got to set a 0 there, I didn't do it. 12.5, that's centre, Y0, right, okay. So, the hole up here, I can probably get away with 10mm offset. Yeah. 10mm offset that way, how will that do? Yeah, so it's going to be 10mm centres, 3 holes. So let's do the centre one. Back to 0. Okay. Am I in the way of the camera? Probably. Right. Okay. There's that one. 10. Hit that quite easy. Just wound across, let go, looked up the DRO and it said 10. Sometimes you win. And then back 10mm the other way. Not so lucky this time. There we go. So M5 0.8 pitch, pretty much says 4.2 drill. So I'll get a 4.2 drill and drill those 3 holes out. So same again. Zero. Gotcha. Now I must remember to drill out the snap screw, and I got in my own one. That's the middle one, and 10 again. So it doesn't need 3 screws. You know, one either end would do. But if you've got a short piece of tool steel in there, or high-speed steel, then you may want to just hold on the end too, or if it doesn't stick right out. So that's that bit. Put the tap up now and tap them. Okay, M5 tap in the chuck. Gonna be brave. Slow down just a touch. Got my finger on the stop button. Hole tapped. Is it? Yeah. All across to 10. I couldn't see any threads in there because they're full of I thought it had ripped the threads back out, but they're full of tapping compound. A little faster than that, right? Put it in reverse. Back out, power tapped. Okay, so yeah, that's 3 holes tapped. So I think next thing, have I got a small enough countersink just to break those edges? You know what, I could use a centre drill. Not ideal, but see how we get on. Not going in reverse, eh? There we are. Down 0. And 10 again. There. Okay, so there's going to be burrs on the inside. I'll have to go around deburring again. That's the part done. I'm going to have to make some screws and shorten them. But yeah, so I could put grub screws in here, but that only gives you a small Allen key size, and you know, you want to be able to tighten that thing in there. So they're going to be cap-headed Allen bolts. I've got some M5 stainless, but I will have to shorten them up so that they're not sticking out a mile. So there's only a couple of turns. You know, this slot is very close to thickness, so if there's only a couple of turns needed, you know, half a turn and they're going to lock. So that's the plan for those. So I set this up in exactly the same way, drilled it out with a 4mm drill, managed to just get the pick up on the hole basically, but managed to get a 4mm drill through it, and there's a 5mm tap right down through. So deburr on my one, give it a clean up. One for Andre, looks very similar indeed. Needs a clean, give it a polish, and then we'll get that posted off. Oh, I need to make some screws, but that's minor detail. So there's the 2 fly cutters. There's mine. I'll take that one out of the way. 3 screws made, and I put a new piece of 1/2" tool steel in. So the cutting edge on these, obviously you want it to rotate clockwise, which is the normal cutting direction. So the cutting edge, it's sort of counterintuitive. You think the cutting edge is here, but it's actually this corner here is the bit that does the work. So I'm going to grind up a basic cut, a basic tip on here for Andre. So this front face wants to be parallel to this, or maybe angled back a degree or so. There's going to be a bit of clearance on the bottom, but I'll only go back sort of 6-8 mil. You can sort of replicate that, and then I'm going to put a radius on the leading edge, probably about a 2 mil radius. And I've found, especially for aluminium, and it works for steel, that a radius on the end works a lot better. It's not so dependent on fine feeds, that sort of thing. So I'm going to grind one of those up on the end of there. So I'm going to get my bench grinder out, get the shape ground onto the end of it, and then I might put a lap over the end of it as well, just to tidy it up so that it's nice and shiny. Okay, so ground point on there, removed any unnecessary sharp edges, just this corner, relieved it back underneath on an angle, let's say from the flat plane this way, and obviously squared it up sort of parallel with the cutter, and then put a back relief on this way, put a nice radius on the end. I think it's about, yeah, it's probably about a 3 mil rad on the corner there, and lapped the radius as well, and lapped the front face. And of course, with these cutters, you never grind the front face, you just gradually drop back further and keep using your tool steel, but you never grind the front face, particularly because that's your center height. If you think of it, that's your tool height, and then with the center line of the cutter being on the center line of rotation, so that's, you know, you're on center, if that makes any sense. So I'll turn it on. I've just touched off on this piece of material. What shall I run at? It's a piece of aluminium, it's about 50-60 mil wide. Let's go 800, and let's just take a cut across there. It's bringing over. You can see a piece of steel. I just did a cut off, a touch off. I could probably, well, I can go a lot faster than that. So there's no lube on there, no WD-40 or, you know, paraffin, any lubrication. I'll bring you in a bit closer and you can see the finish we're getting. Okay, so yeah, when you want a really nice finish, in fact, I'm going to speed up there. So you always see, even though the head's trammed, and I know the head is good, you always see it cut on a reverse stroke. That's just the nature of it. On the front stroke there's a bit of deflection, and when there's no deflection, the reverse other side of the cutter as we pass across, so that'll be like this side, you'll see the circles come back the other way. So let's see, is that happening? Haven't quite got there yet. I can see it touching it. It's a minute amount, but it is touching it. Okay, yeah, you can see it touching it now. You can see on the reverse there. Can you see it touch? So it will differ if the one side is unloaded and the other side is loaded. So as this side became unloaded, this side of the cutter started cutting deeper, as you can see in this area here. When that side of the cutter became unloaded, it looks like I'm very close here, I'm not close to the cutter, let's zoom out. Yeah, it sort of took on a different pattern, but the pattern on there is glorious. I'm happy with the grind on the tip. That's it really, that's happy days on that one. I'm very happy for that to wing its way off to Andre. So there we are, yeah, Flycutter for Andre. Now this is identical to the one I've been using that I made way back. I made it on the lathe before I had a mill, so that I could mill on the lathe. So yeah, early days videos of Aids Workshop, but it served me well the whole time. Design, everything, it hasn't let me down, other than myself breaking one of the screws, which I've replaced on mine now as well. You know, regrind it, give it a lap. I've done steel with it, brass with it, aluminium with it. It seems to just cope. On steel, as long as you don't go too fast, because obviously you're looking at a big diameter cutter in effect. So yeah, hope you get a lot of use out of that Andre. So Andre, as I said at the beginning, is Rusty Inventions. There's a link in the description. And don't forget to have a look at Sabing Blue Steel as well. You'll see all sorts of engineering going on there. It's very much in the deconstruction stage at the moment of this rusty metal boat, or ship, more than a boat, but this rusty metal ship. Two great big diesel engines, diesel generator. It's got the lot, this thing. Anyway, I turn up on it, or I may do, you know, just a cameo role as it were. I think that might even be this next video, because I've been to see Sean there recently, and yeah, he was filming at the time. So if you haven't had enough of Aid on Aid's Workshop, you can see even more over on Sean's channel. So link in the description, Sabing Blue Steel. Right, so a couple of things I will say. Have lost a couple of subscribers and gained a couple. Subscribers isn't everything, but obviously loads of comments on that first video I put up, people wishing me well and saying glad to, you know, see you back. And yes, I'm glad to be back too, and thank you to all of you for the comments. I think it does something good for the algorithm or something, recommends it to more people. So I need to get the channel going again a bit, I think, give me a bit more, what's the word, enthusiasm towards it. So hit that thumbs up as well, and if you want to subscribe, there's a subscribe, doesn't cost you anything, but all that means is you'll be notified if I put another video up. You'll be notified that I put another video up, in case, you know, saves you missing one or what have you. So yeah, I think it's notify, comment if you like, subscribe, and give me a thumbs up on that thumbs up button, because I think that helps as well. Not that I'm any genius on it. Another thing, I have only just figured out these advert situation. Now obviously the monetization on YouTube pays for certain bits around the workshop, bits of material, cameras more than anything. You know, when you need a camera, they don't last forever, they're in a harsh environment, but you know, it funds that sort of stuff and the odd bits of material. It doesn't fund enough to keep the heating on in the winter, but I love to put my hand in my pocket for that myself. So anyway, what I've realised, and this is through talking to Sean, is that they were obtrusive, and when I looked to see where they put in all the adverts, I could see after about 2 adverts, people were going, oh, I've had enough of this, too many adverts, and actually clicking off the video. So what I've done is split it out. So instead of all these mid-roll I think it's like one every 15 minutes, but the way YouTube had it was one every 3 minutes, which that is obtrusive. But obviously I watched the edit. Once I've done that, I don't go back and watch my own videos, but I actually went back and watched one, and I could see how intrusive it is. So on the advert side, I've cut that down, so there'll be one at the beginning and one about every 15 minutes through the video. You know, I've got to keep it monetized, but it'll stop people clicking off, especially new people. I know all you long-termers, you'll watch it adverts and all, but I'm sure you'll find it better without all these adverts. Anyway, that's my rant at YouTube putting all these adverts in. Yeah, I understand why, but if they watch all the video and you watch 4, somebody's watched 4 adverts. But if you click off after the first 2, because they keep coming, somebody's only watched 2. So we'll see how it goes. I'll try and get the numbers of adverts in the videos reduced, and thanks Sean for the advice on that, because he's figured it out before I have. But there's a lot of new stuff turned up on YouTube since my last video, which I didn't know about. Anyway, that said, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.